RaceRoom Racing Experience, or R3E, is one of those games that I think in the sim racing sphere is often incredibly underrated. As you can see right now, their entire content library is on offer, and it says £83 on my screen. I think I actually picked it up at £68. So if you're in the UK looking at it, that's cheaper than, I think, 5 pieces of content in iRacing? And with the news they're going to be adding in soon, after the free event, the Super Touring content as well as a classic version of Silverstone, maybe it's a good time to try it out. In fact, for the rest of the week that I'm recording this video in, you can try it all out for free. So what I'm going to do in this video is talk you through my experience trying it out this time, because I've tried it out time and again, and I'll talk to you about what's actually made the deciding factor for me. So firstly, one of the first pieces of content that I tried out was the new DTM stuff. It was recently released. I was watching Overtake doing a video on it when it first came out. They've added the 1995 DTM season, and I mean, this era of DTM is amazing. It's like what ended up happening with the Class 1 regulations, though, in that it was so powerful, so expensive, so cutting edge that it essentially killed off the series, only for it to come back a few years later. In the case of DTM with Class 1, it had to change across to GT3. But overall, it was a great experience to be able to try out this content. It's something that doesn't often get represented, and it's something similar that we're seeing the Super Tourers. To have a big game studio dedicating themselves to doing this, it's excellent, and for sim racing fans, it's brilliant as well. R3E has so much content in its library, so much of it can be unique. Like, you're watching here the gameplay at Arvis in these DTM cars, and yeah, I mean, at first I struggled a little bit. I think it's because I was on novice assists, but when I put it onto the hardcore driving simulator stuff and messed around with the setup a little bit, which was quite straightforward. I mean, I've used setup subscriptions for quite a while, but I know the basics of what you can do to make a car go better, and yeah, it's just clicked. And that's just one of the things that's made me go, you know what, I've been trying this out a few times now, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually pick it up. Another thing was trying out the WTCRs at Macau. Now, they don't have the most up-to-date stuff. I think the most recent one is 2022. For the last couple of years, WTCR has done a lot of its stuff in Assetto Corsa and powered by Sim Racing GP. But you get a lot of TCR content in here. For me, as somebody who, well, you can probably see linked in the description below how much I love Race 07 as a game. It's something that's really fun to have, World Touring cars. And to have it in an official title. These are the guys who made Race 07. It's fantastic. Now, we don't have all the content that we used to have on offer with R3E. When I first tried it out, the Citroën Champs-Élysées was on there, which got removed due to licensing deals, I believe, not long after Citroën actually left the WTCC. But to be able to have Macau, which isn't represented in any other mainstream sim racing title, is a lot of fun. Like, the closest you can get is mods, and the best mod I would say that's out there is the one in Assetto Corsa. So to be able to have a licensed version of Macau in the game, as well as several other tracks you don't see licensed in other titles. I'm thinking tracks like the Salzburg Ring. There are a few Chinese tracks you don't see anywhere else. Nagaro is also in there, which I can't think of any other games that it's in. And multiple variants of Paul Ricard. It's great to have that kind of variety, and to have what I would say is quite an underrated variety. And another one that I tried out was Assen in the Mercedes CLK DTM, because, wow, Tokyo Race Driver 3, that's pretty much it. Well, what I do like about R3E is the emphasis KW Racing has put on the classic content. And I think it's one of those things that I enjoy about titles like AMS2, is what I like about AC and RF2, especially with the modding scene, is you get to drive these cars that don't really get much love and affection in the present day because, well, it's difficult to get all the licensing done, especially for stuff like sponsors. That's why if you ever watch me talk about stuff in EA Sports WRC, you'll find what I like doing is driving the 2-litre World Rally cars. It's stuff I grew up with, it's stuff that I enjoy, and yeah, it's something that I really like about sim racing, is that you can go back through these glory days. Now, Aston is a tricky track. I've probably driven it a couple of times in different sims, but this is the first time I was properly sitting it down and driving. And after having been able to trounce the adaptive AI in the old DTM stuff, with this slightly newer DTM stuff, I thought, let's turn it up to max. And then I had a Total Race Driver 3 flashback. Specifically, this.
This is what you're aiming for. The perfect racing line. And this is you. All over the shop.
But then who's surprised? At the end of the day, I wasn't going to really have the best form, was I? But it was at this moment that it was pretty much sealed for me. This is what I was going to do. And I'll tell you for why. Because R3E is coming to LFM. It should happen in early 2025. Low Fuel Motorsport is essentially the iRacing system, but in other sim racing titles. They made a name for themselves with ACC, and when they first launched with RF2, I jumped to the bandwagon with it. I was one of the better guys at RF2, largely because I was able to steer clear of incidents. They've recently launched support for Automobilista 2, which I'm hoping to release a video for in the coming days, and that's a lot of fun as well. And to hear that RaceRoom was going to be coming to it as well, and to find that, you know, it's relatively affordable. Like, I've had AMS2 for a few years now with Season Pass, so all the DLC has been added to my account. But to find that R3E was going to be added, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is going to be so much fun. And even if it doesn't end up being all in the LFM, I get to enjoy it in single player anyways, and there's probably going to be an uptick in form. AMS2 is at an all-time high in player count since it's been added to LFM, and I assume R3E will probably find something similar as well. But yeah, that's what decided it for me. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching and joining, and I hope this has been insightful in some ways for you. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now.